Welcome, everybody, to the Between You and I Bad Grammar podcast, and this is number 5, and we are on an awesome Sunday, and there's just nothing better to do on a Sunday than have a good conversation with an old friend. So today, I'm super psyched. We have Roderick from Sky Cries Mary, and we are going to go way back to talk about everything, and so I'm excited, and so welcome.
Hey, thank you. This is awesome. It's like bicoastal, bipolar or something.
I know. It's cool. And we figured out Skype, and so we're super psyched about that.
It is exciting, yeah.
We got like a whole new level. Now I feel like I could call anybody anytime in a really annoying way, like, I want to talk to you. But so you and I kind of started talking, and we were going to just save it for the podcast. But like, I've known you since I knew you before when I was 20. Remember, because you went to the UW, and
we had a forestry class together or something.
Right. Like, so, I mean, I knew you way back in the day. And then when I was 21, I ended up going to France through the University of Washington and staying. And then you and I hung out there. And I told somebody this story the other day, and they were like, what? Like, because I was just talking about all the cool things I think you've done. And I was like, well, and all the things that you have like accomplished. And I hope you don't mind me mentioning, but like, you were number 1 in the state of Washington in tennis, right? Like, I love tennis. And I was like, you kind of don't do anything half-assed, it seems to me. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm super obsessive, that's for sure. Like, if I was going to do tennis, I was going to play it like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think the first time we met was in a forestry class or something like that at the University of Washington, and I was in pre-med, so I was going to be a doctor.
Oh my God.
And I was just, yeah. And so my roommate, Scott, he was also in the pre-med program. That was like we had an apartment together. And then he was like, holy hell, like, he was totally had a crush on you. And I was like, come on, Scott, give me a chance. And then, and Scott's like, no. And I think you guys might have dated a couple of times. And then we stayed in contact, and then you moved to France. And then I got into grad school in Paris. And then I was like, hey, I'm coming to Paris. Where are you? And you were like, I'm in Nantes. And I'm like, okay, I'll come see you first. And then I think we went out to the coast, like to, I don't know,
Biarritz,
Bretagne or something. Yeah, maybe Biarritz or something. Mm-hmm. And then you hooked me up with a friend, and he was going to Istanbul through the Eastern, bloc. And I was like, oh, I'm all over that, because that's how I am. I'm like, oh, you're going somewhere? I'm going somewhere too. And, so then I went through Romania, Bulgaria, former Yugoslavia, into Greece, over to Istanbul, and then I realized, like, oh, I'm going to be late for class. I better get back to Paris.
I love it. But like, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, think about that in that time span. You were like, oh, I was going to go pre-med. And then you had also kind of started to do music then, because you had met up with the Posies, right? And you were doing the Grinder Cease, right? That was.
Oh, God, good memory. Yeah.
Right?
So what happened was, when I was in Paris for grad school, I was like, ran out of money. I was living in a squat. If people don't know what that is, it's like illegal housing. And I was just like, stealing bread and wine and cheese. And I had nothing. I was like a rat, And so then, I walked into this record store, and I said, hey, will you sell my cassette from the music I wrote for my senior thesis at the UW? And then suddenly it was like, I get a call through a girlfriend of mine, because I didn't even have a phone, because I didn't even have a home. And, she says, hey, Roderick, at the next day in college at class, she goes, I got a phone call. They wanted to talk to you. And I walk in to the record store, and they're like, hey, we're actually a record label. We want to sign you for 2 albums. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
So I drop out, from the grad school. I fly back to Seattle. I hook up with Ken and John from the Posies, and we kind of like, this huge snowstorm came in, and so we locked ourselves inside John Hour's house for like 10 days and made the first album for like $500 on the Tascam, 8-track.
I love that.
Yeah. back in the day, right? So
yes,
I released that, and then Europe, was really into kind of industrial music at the time, and they responded like massive. Melody Maker jumped all over it, and then I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now, and so I was like, whatever, if anyone wants to give me some attention, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think about think about that. You've gone from like, I'm pre-med to now I'm going to go to you were going to the Jacques Lecoq, like mind school, right?
God. Wow.
And then,
how do you know all this?
Because it was totally, these are things I remember about you that really stuck with me as examples for me, just so you know, of what I admired about you is because just your willingness to like, put yourself out there, number one, but also follow your intuition and your bliss, right? Like I probably felt a little more guarded about that, but you went and did that. And I always remember like the story about you going into New Rose Records, right? It was New Rose.
Exactly.
And just like, oh, I'm going to go to Jacques Lecoq Mime School, and I'm going to walk into this record store. And it always stuck in my head, even through like Hammerbox days where I was like, like Roderick, if you just put yourself out there in a bunch of places, something will bite. And I always admired that. And then just your like willingness to sort of like, oh, I'm here. And, oh, you're going to Romania? Yes, I'll go with you. And just your willingness and more courage, I should say, seems to me, to follow your intuition. And
I think it's just being really naive. More than like, getting out of my own way. Like, I just don't think about stuff. I just like,
I get it.
Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like my whole life's been that way. It's, when I was a kid, I didn't really want to write, history papers and stuff. So I wrote plays and I performed them for the two first grade classes. And then I did all that through sixth grade. And then I was like, they said, no, you actually have to write something down. And I was like, oh, fuck, hell. Sorry, I don't know if you can swell on one. But it's I was like, yeah. So I was like, oh, no. And then and that's when my science brain kicked in. So I was like, okay, like my dad and my brother are doctors. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, And then it took like another, I don't even know, 12 years later when I decided that this was going to be my passion, was theater and music,
Right, yes.
So,
yeah.
It's like that time in Paris,
Oh my God. Did you have parents that were, you seemed like you'd have parents that were like, all right, we're letting him follow his bliss and like embrace like what works best for you, like through school and all of that?
Well, they knew I was different.
Yeah.
That's a really polite way of saying that I was crazy.
Different.
But
nice.
Roderick is different. And so, when I went, like my mom, she passed away 3 years ago, but the whole time I had with her was just like, Roderick, do what you want to do. Do what you feel, is important, that you feel like like you said, follow your bliss. And, and my dad was much more practical. Like, no, you have to be a doctor. And if you don't, I'm going to cut you off.
Right.
So,
right.
But him cutting me off from all finances was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because then I was like, okay, I gotta make my way, like back, I don't want to retract too much, but it's like when I was at the UW and probably when I met you, I was illegally living in Hutchinson Hall. I lived in the tower. Yeah, I had nowhere to go. So I had no money. My dad cut me off. So I, cut the lock off the top lock in the very top tower of Hutchinson Hall and put the same lock back on. And I snuck in every night through a ladder, through a window that I always kind of jammed open. And then I went up there and I slept there for like a year until they caught me.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember awesome, that. Right? I feel like hearing about that. I love that because I'm like, what amazing times where you could finagle spots and things for yourself. And I've really felt like ignorance is bliss. Like the thing I miss about the start of anything is like, I don't know any better. Like, so I'm not going to worry about it. And now I feel like I know too much and it's a burden, like I have to deconstruct like the knowledge to be like, okay, yeah, I know you have all these experiences, but can you let them all go so you can be anew, and fresh and continue on?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is getting out of your own way, basically.
Yeah.
It's just like, just, can't think too much about it. You can't force anything. Things just have to happen. At the same time, you just have to be available. So that's
so true.
That's kind of the key. But I can't, again, I can't even think about being available. I just have to be available.
Yes.
So
we're going to get into a super metaphysical conversation, and I dig it.
Okay, so then, so I came to visit you in Nantes, and you were working for this family, and that guy was like a backgammon champion, and I remember, and I lived up in the attic with you, and then I went to Europe, and I went through all of former Yugoslavia. I went through everything, Herzegovina, everything, Bosnia, Croatia, all the way. And then, like I said, I had to get back. So then I ended up back in Paris and did grad school. And then I got the record deal. And then I went back to Seattle and I recorded the first album with the Posies. And but it was like a Sky Cries industrial album. And then it got really well received in Europe. So I went back to Europe for a year and just kind of did, industrial tours. And then I came back and then that's when I met, I hooked back up with Anissa, who I met in the art school because I worked in the cafe there.
That's right.
Yeah, I worked in the cafe. Anissa walked in 1985, and we were friends for 5 years. Then I went to Europe. She went to Oxford, and then when I got back, she walked into this vegetarian restaurant that I was working in on Capitol Hill, and then I was like, oh my God, there she is. Because I was always in love with her, deeply in love with her. Yeah, and so then she, I asked her to come in and sing on some songs for the second album, and then one thing led to another, and then 3 years later we were married, and and we were married for 18 years or 19 years. It was like a long span, and I know, right? And then and during that span, we got signed to Capitol Records, and we got signed to Warner Brothers, and we did all these cool things like opening for Neil Young and all these, for a summer, and all these really cool things. We were the first band ever to play on the internet, back in '94. Yeah, we were the very first band to do a global internet concert, which was awesome because then, things kind of got crazy and good for us for a while. And then ever since then, then we went into a decline because the music industry was imploding at the moment, which I'm sure you understand.
Oh yeah.
It was just totally imploding. There was like, if we can get you in a movie, great. Otherwise we're going to drop you.
Right.
So then we went back to, just indie music, which is, what I love. I love just, just making music for music. It's not about the money and for sure. I never really made much money. There was a time when I did, and I bought my house in Seattle and did all that. And anyways, so much has happened. There's so much under the bridge.
Oh my God, I know, right? And it takes so much therapy to just to get through it. It was so funny when I got back from France. I think that was one of the hardest things I'd ever done, just learning to speak French, right? And I'm a terrible student, and so I knew I got that job because I was like, I need to be forced. I need all the Americans to leave, and for a good 3 months. Oh God, it was like blah blah blah, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And anywho. So, and I remember you came to visit me and we went to Biarritz, and remember we had enough money for one hotel room, but you had met some people who, I think the folks you went and traveled with, remember at some abandoned castle or hotel.
Holy heck. Did you come to that castle?
I didn't. Okay. Here's totally a personal thing that you're going to, this is kind of gross, but when I was on that trip, I got my period on that weekend and I had no money. And I just was like, I'm literally I have to live in the water because I'm just bleeding. And I was like, and you get emotional too. So I was like, I got really emotional and I gotta go home. I need to go home. I just felt really vulnerable. And so, no, I didn't go on the adventure with you. And so I rode the train back, just I feel I gotta go home, just scared or whatever. And so. Yeah, I admired it, but I felt
But did you get to that castle that I lived in?
No.
Oh, my God, that was amazing. It was a castle squat.
Yeah.
Like it was like in Biarritz. Yeah, I still have like bricks from there and stuff because I collect stones wherever I go. I still have that. It's in like my big, treasure chest or whatever. Sorry.
I love that.
And Biarritz was great. Same thing. I was so broke. I was stealing cheese, and we would run by and grab baguettes, and and sometimes they have wine bottles kind of lined up for like the tours, and you just run as mad. And like if there was 8 of us, then like 3 of us would steal, and the other 5 would like deflect. And then we'd all go back to the castle and have a party, and then we'd go, meet girls and do the whole thing,
Yeah, it's so amazing.
We were like super punk.
Right. But it's one of the few times I feel like in my life where I was completely okay with the, I'm usually pretty okay with the unknown, but like, I had taken a trip to England and like ran out of money and had to beg money the whole way back to get home.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, and like willing to do it. Just like, hey, got any money? Like, whatever. And I think I had to leave Biarritz also because my train pass was running out. Like it was the end date. And I was like, I have to skedaddle or I can't get home. Because you're right. We had no money, like zero. Oh, yeah. And so
you should have hooked up with my friend Jeff Casper because we learned how to forge those Euro passes.
Oh my God.
Anywhere. He was so good at it. Like he worked for like Police Stark, so he could go in to the offices and, do these mass mock-ups and then laminate them. And then we could go anywhere at any time for free.
Do you remember?
Like, yes.
Do you remember going to, remember when we went to Paris to that huge concert that was, I can't remember if it was gay rights. It was Touche pas mon pote. And that huge concert. And it was you and I. Well, I have these pockets of memories, like where we were with Patrice and you and I, and maybe my friend Jana was with us. I can't remember, but I have one particular memory where we're all together and then somehow we got separated from you. And I thought, oh my God, we're never going to find him. But we were all walking around. Never, because it was that packed. And literally, I remember we were standing somewhere and the seas parted, like people parted, and you were standing right there. And I was like, rack, like.
And it was probably like Peter Tall or something.
Oh my God.
It was like, there was like some serious great reggae going down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I was like enamored. I'm like, oh my God, that's like Max Romeo or someone who I totally loved. It was something like that. It was a legendary reggae.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You were psyched. You're like, I'm drifting off over here to go see this. And I'm like, where's he going? And like trying to keep everyone together. And like, but I remember, so fast forward to like when I got back, and it was for me it was like, okay, if I could do that, I should try anything I've ever wanted. And I don't even think you and I had talked about like, oh, I can sing or something. Like we never talked about that. And then
I had no idea you had such a beautiful voice. I had no idea that you were going to.
Nobody did
launch this. Well, same with me. It's like it wasn't like I was like some singer. It was like. It's just suddenly you're just like, oh, I want to express myself in this way. And then you must have just suddenly discovered I have a voice, like an insanely beautiful voice. It must have been just like shocking to yourself on the way. Like, wow, I can open up this way and express my poetry. And
I thought it was amazing because I grew up doing choirs and things like that. And so I knew I could sing, but I never put 2 and 2 together. And I grew up in the Tri-Cities. And so it was like, there's hardcore bands, but there weren't other bands. And just me as a person, I never once was like, man, I got to get in a band. I loved listening to music, but it wasn't until I got back from that trip, and Seattle had so much of a music cycle rising up, and it just was everywhere. And so I was like, oh, well, I should try that. That would be, like, I want to try being in a band. And like you, I was like, that's as far as I thought about it. I was like, oh, I should try that. That's all I thought. Whatever. Like,
how did you find, the band? How did you find the guys, to like, oh, I want to sing with you. I want to jam with you. And then they're like, holy hell, she's got this amazing voice. How did that happen?
Well, funny enough, you are in the story. I answered an ad, and I'm a huge believer in synchronicity and kind of the universe, and like all the things, like if you just let it happen. But anywho, so I had in my mind, as it goes, had decided, like a real internal decision, like, yeah, I want to do that. I didn't think anything more, but I literally opened up the Rocket and answered this ad.
The Rocket,
yeah, and I answered it because they had like vocal influences like REM and then like Annie Lennox. And I'm a big new wave person more than anything. So I was like, oh, okay. Like I can relate to that. So, and the ad was Dave and James, who didn't know each other. Hammerbox was a mixture of people who didn't know each other at all. Like Dave was from Kentucky. James was from Tennessee. They had started playing and put this ad in, and I answered it. And literally, again, not knowing anything, I always laugh about this. I'm like, they were like, oh, do you have a demo tape? Do you have this? And I was like, I ain't got any of that. I'm like super lazy. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's like freaking 1991 or 90 or something. It's like, who had a demo tape?
I know, right? Like, I have no idea.
I have a VHS of like me when I was 4 or something. Go ahead.
Well, I was like, you're just going to have to you're going to have to let me come out there. And I do feel like, everybody has things that they're capable of if you try them. And like, they started playing and I just started singing, because I think I've always had and enjoyed like pop melody, or I have a tendency to hear it out of music. And so that kind of blossomed. And then, so where you come in is that you and I intersected a lot. Remember, you lived in an apartment with Nils Bernstein and Jeff, and I can't remember Jeff's last name, in the warehouse, the Prudential building down in Pioneer Square. Do you remember that? Uh-oh, I might have lost him.
Did we lose him?
We might have.
Okay. Hold on. Let's call him back. Yeah, it looks like he dropped off.
Yeah.
Okay, one sec.
Okay. You got this down now.
I think so.
We got it down, though, now. Look at us. We're like, yeah, boom, hang, go get him.
We're super pros. Yeah, I'm in my studio, and if I walk into a different part of the studio, because I like to talk and walk, I think there's a cutout. So I'll stop walking.
You just got to pace back and forth. That's all you got to do.
Exactly.
So I was telling the story about how Hammerbox came together, and I had answered an ad in the Rocket that was Dave and James first, and then I sang with them. But then the second part is where you come in, where you lived in the Prudential building in a warehouse with Nils Bernstein and Jeff. What was Jeff's last name? I can't remember.
Oh God, Hayward.
And
and Charles Peterson lived upstairs.
Right. So my friend Elise and I and Samara took over Charles's apartment. He moved out and we moved in. And
you took over Charles Peterson's apartment?
Yeah.
On Alaskan?
Yes. Oh, and literally my bedroom was right above your bedroom. Like, because you had like incense, like, and it wasn't like, it was like thin walls, just in terms of like you could smell incense and all this stuff. And Jeff is the one who introduced me to Harris, who ended up being the guitar player. But isn't that wild? Small world.
So I had no idea that's how that came together.
Yeah. And here's a memory I have from that time is you probably still do, but I fell in love. Your journals are so intricate. And I remember seeing like one of your journal books and thinking, oh my God, that's amazing. Like just how much you put in them and how much visualization you do, and drawings and cutouts and words. And I always thought those were amazing. And I always sort of like was like, oh, like visual, these are like vision boards almost.
That's uncanny, because I was just cutting a collage out of Lead Belly.
Right.
And just this morning, and pasting it into my new journal. I have like 80 journals. I don't even know how many.
I'm glad. Are you saving them, right?
Oh, yeah. They're in my.
Oh, good.
I have a library.
That's awesome. Because they're kind of little pieces of artwork, don't you think? Like at some point, it would be cool.
They're so important, because it's like, something can happen, and say like I just went to Scotland And I was there for 2 weeks lecturing at different universities, and it's just like,
cool.
Did that? And I come home and I go, did that really happen? And then I'm like, oh yeah, because I cut out, my train stop, and I cut out my flight ticket, and then I cut out, the university thing, and then I cut out something from the newspaper from that day. It's like, then I go, for me, it's like, oh yeah, that really did happen.
Right.
Like they're just archival. And of course, in the end, I'll give them over to my daughter, Petra, and, she'll be like, oh wow, Dad.
Well, that'll be amazing.
She calls me Dad. She goes, Dad. Not like Dad. She goes, Dad.
Dad. Hello.
Yeah, Dad. Like almost like a A and a O together. Like Dad. Anyways, wow, you remember my journals. Yeah, I'm a massive journalist. Yeah.
Well,
I lost them.
Oh, you did? Well, they were really influential to me. I think I have some kind of started, but I think it must be a good meditation for you too, right? Does it help you be very present? And also does it help you get out ideas and just continue
absolutely.
Yeah. Get the creative. It looks like that. I thought those were amazing.
That's kind of how I write songs. It's like, I don't write so much sometimes I write in a kind of an esoteric spiritual way. And sometimes it's just exactly what I saw while I was walking down the street,
right.
Or even something I overheard, or, and then I splice it all together. And sometimes the songs are just a big blast, like gliding or something, where it's like, I just sat down and the whole thing came to me because I was outside, the prison where, Jean Genet was locked up, in Bastille, and I just sat on a bench, and then suddenly I just got the entire song rushed into my brain, and I just wrote it all down. And I was like, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes, it's stitching, pieces together. And then, a lot of it's like, for Sky Cries, it was like, it would start with Ben Ireland, he would start this rhythm, and then I would figure out the meter, and then I would say, oh, that matches this lyric. And then, and then the bass would come in, and then the guitars would come in, and, and then Gordon Raphael, who went on to do the Strokes and all that stuff, he would come in, and, and the whole song would be written, and then Anissa would come in with these harmonies, and then that was the song, basically. So
that's cool. That's a full collaboration.
That's how we wrote. It is. It's all collaboration. My whole life is a collaboration. It's just like,
that's nice. I should get your advice from you too. So I'm starting to. I have a couple questions in my head that just run nail
them at me. Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm starting to put together starting to think about doing another record, and my big thing in my head is I want to be very present. I really want to savor it. And I also want a buddy, like a partner. And this partner needs to have orchestration knowledge and care about the songs, because anything I write is pretty personal. And I was going to share with you too, my mom passed about 3 years ago as well. And I would love to talk to you about that. But it's some of these songs are, my stuff's always personal, but this really feels like a passageway for me. Her passing is a massive, difficult passageway for me, because it's, like a pinnacle parent who was your core. When they leave, it's such a giant hole. And my little spirit is very I have to go do this on my own now. And sometimes I really struggle with that. You're not here anymore. Mm-hmm. A large pillar is gone. And so it's just this slow move through grief. And then that takes you really internal to your own foibles and your own crap. And so wading through that just to hopefully come out on the other side, right? It's heavy.
It's so heavy. When my mom passed, my sister, Nikki, who I adore, she's absolutely my best friend now. She tried to commit suicide the night before my mom's funeral. So it was so there's my mom's passing. I'm the one doing the eulogy, and then my sister can't be there because she's in the hospital.
Oh man!
And then a week later, Anissa asked for the divorce. So I was I was just slammed. I was I had to move out. I had to do all these things. My mom just died.
Oh my
and
God.
I was worried about Nikki. Yeah. So it was just like, that threw me into like, a very, very, very dark place, it's still taking me time to process because I didn't know what to mourn for. My sister Nikki now is like 3 years sober and is a crisis clinic person. She's just
awesome.
She's awesome. She's like the coolest girl, and we actually are writing music together.
Oh my God, that's so great.
She's working on my new album with me. It's like, it's amazing. And we have this totally new relationship because, she's 8 years younger than me, and I kind of, in a way, raised her. She was like, I really felt she was my responsibility, and so I adore her, and it's so cool to be doing music with her. The whole processing is because it's like, it's not like some parents, you have a little disconnect or, a little regret or, something. Probably like your mom and my mom was just like, she was my anchor. She was everything to me. She was who I went to. And she was always there for me, and so when that happened, it was a major, major crush for me. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any art. I didn't do hardly anything. I locked myself away in some desolate apartment in the East Village for months until my friends dug me out,
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say because I've seen myself through phases of up and down. Like I've talked a lot about, like when I hit about 38, I hit like a depression wall. Like I could see it as I think at some point I started to slowly, this is what happens when you don't follow your intuition and side with yourself. I always say, because sometimes opportunities that come to you are inexplicable, but it's your path, and it may not make everybody happy, but also in artistry, I feel like there's ups and downs where, especially in the downs, you've got to find a way to be really solid on the inside, have a good posse. And I was always really alone. So consequently, I didn't reach out for help. I wasn't in the habit of it ever in my lifetime, really, to reach out for help. And I slowly kind of lost myself. And at some point I really hit this wall of, unlike I've ever felt in my life, where I just hit the wall, fell down, and was like lost. Like I couldn't even tell you what I like to eat. I don't know what to do next. I can't figure out where I am, and just lonely, awful feeling.
Yeah.
Awful.
I would stay in bed for like literally 2 weeks at a time, to the point where I just never got out of bed, like these guys, one time I like come out of like one of my 10-day, 12 days in bed. And then I wake up and there's like these 4 guys, these really big dudes in like blue, like jumpsuits. And they're like, "You're coming with us." And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, I thought they were like aliens or something. I was like, "Where did you come from?" And they're like, "You're coming with us." And I'm like, "How did you get in my apartment? Where's your warrant? What are you going to do?" And they're like, "We can take you in the hostile sense, or you can go with us peacefully." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And so I tried to ditch out my door to get out of my apartment. I had like a doorman. I had like, I was living in this like luxurious apartment. I'm like, "How did you get here?" And then they like handcuff me and then like nail me to the bed. And I'm like, "You can't do this. They didn't do this to like Brian Jones or Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. He was in bed for a year." And I'm like, and then I'm like screaming. And I'm like, "I got to get over to Julian Schnabel's place because there's like a memorial for Lou Reed. And, I have to get there." And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "I got to get to Schnabel's place." And I'm dressed in this like Egyptian Galabea gown, like
as
I'm
you
basically
do.
in an Egyptian dress, and they're like, so they handcuffed me and dragged me out of the lobby and like everyone there is like a gazillionaire, and they're watching me with my long hair being dragged out of the place, and they're just like, what crime did I commit?
Well, Roderick, who were these guys? Who were they? Were they your friends had called somebody to come get you?
Yeah, it's kind of like a super intervention. It wasn't like sit them down and say, I think you should go to rehab. They were just like, you're insane. You haven't left your bed in 14 days. Your hair is all matted and you haven't eaten. And I'm like, well, come on. That's, I'm grieving,
Right.
I was like, holy hell, because Lou Reed from the Velvet Underground was my absolutely best friend. We had breakfast, every Monday for years. And then when he passed, Lou Reed was my absolutely best friend. He was my mentor, basically.
Oh my God, this is what I love about talking to you is like we'll tell a story and then all of a sudden there's something like, what? You were having lunch with like...
No, I had breakfast with him every Monday if we were in the same city, like, whether we were here in New York or we were in San Francisco, we were in New Mexico, we were in Berlin, wherever. It was like, that was our thing. He was everything to me. And then so his death triggered a whole like new grieving thing that I just didn't understand. Like, so I finally started grieving my mom because I was I'd already passed through the whole divorce thing. And my sister was doing great. And then he dies. And then it just brought up so much. So I just locked myself away again. And then that's when the guys in blue showed up and like tried to put me in the loony bin. And I was like, you can't do this. And then, then they had like 110 questions to see if they can lock you down for 72 hours. I got all those tricks. It's just like, blah, 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 no, blah, 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 no, blah, 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 no. Just say no to everything. Right. And then a few yeses and then just get the fuck out of there, So.
I love that. Here's how it goes. Yeah. You're going to say no to this and yes to that and then get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. And then the next week I'm, doing his eulogy.
Wow.
Lou's, and then that's when David Bowie walks in and he sits right in front of him, and I'm like, oh, holy hell,
right.
It's already like this, insane, there's Michael Stipe, there's Bono, and there's all these people, and then I'm reading the eulogy, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing this for?
Wow.
And then and David was so sweet, he was going when he really talked to me afterwards. He goes, wow, you really understood him. And I'm like,
right.
Well, thank you. It's like, so, that was really beautiful. He was a sweetheart, that guy, I met him, maybe 5 times, but it was like, every time it was very personal. He's not like the kind of person who just like shoots the shit. He's just like, he gets right down to it and then he's done. So it's like, maybe it's 3 minutes, maybe it's 5 minutes, and it's just, that's what it is, So, my next art show is with Laurie Anderson. That's going to be cool.
Oh, wow. See, you, I swear to God, you lead this like magical life, even if it seems like it's been, I'm sure you're like, hey, it's been up and down and rocky. And I completely understand that. So, but at the same time, kudos to you for just leading such a magical life because you allow your spirit to be open. So I find that tremendous about you.
Well, thank you. It just goes back to what we've been talking about. It's just being open, it's like, you just gotta there's no advice for it. It's just
right.
You can't force anything. You can't sit down and go, I'm going to write a song today. It's like, I'm going to, I'm going to make a new treehouse design. It's like, no, you just got to wait till it feels right. Like right now, I'm gonna have an art show that I have to install on Tuesday, and I still haven't finished this stone sculpture I'm working on. And so I'm going to drag it out onto my fire escape and then start grinding on it because it's Sunday and no one's going to really yell at me, and that's the last piece I have to do. It's like I have 18 pieces going into this gallery, and it's like, okay, right, I'm just going to do it because it's like I just have to crawl out there, plug into my grinder, and then place the stone on my fire escape and just go at it until someone really gets hostile, and then I'll just drag it back in and do it again like an hour later. It's like, that's what I'm going to do today. That's my day today.
I love it. I feel like you've stayed really present and close to, like, does this, if you're doing something, you can tell me, but I'm like, you seem very like, I'm doing what I like to do. Like, you enjoy your work and you love it. And so I think it's a good place to be, to let go and not try and control things or try to control outcomes. That's something I'm goaling this year about music, is to let go of control, because I can tell intuitively that certain answers aren't coming yet. They're just not here yet. And I think I have to, like, my gut is very like, you have some massive internal things to deal with before you go lead these classes you want to do, like some other things need to be like worked out. And so I'm just trying to open up and go with the flow. Like, all right, like, need to be, cause I want to get back to that really intuitive making choices. And also I'm excited about the magic. Like, I want some magic shit to show up. I love that when synchronicity happens. I'm like, I geek out, like, magic abounds,
Yeah, your heart gets filled with, like, basically it's love, but it's really blood. Your heart just like expands, and you're like, it's like you're in love again. It's like that infatuation phase, but it's with art.
Right.
And it's like you're passionately involved again in something that is like a child in a way. You're going to manifest something, but you don't even know what it is, but you just feel invigorated, like you're in it, it's like, and so, that's where I'm at with this new album is, I'm just trying to write it as a book, chapter by chapter.
Right.
Okay, so I have this theme, and the theme is like, there's this thief, and the thief is like, the negative side of my persona, and he's trying to steal my energy, take away my muse, take away my wings in a way, like in gliding is kind of the thing. It's like, only a thief would understand just how I feel. Only a thief would understand just what to steal. That kind of an idea, like, so I'm kind of like, trying to like fight off this thief who's trying to steal my pen in the end. It's like, he's trying to take away my creativity, and, it's not religious. It's just a thief, and, so it's like, don't take away my ability to express myself. And so I'm fighting this thief, and that's like, all the songs are thematically structured in that way. And then it's also a lot of, heartbreak, but it's mostly about, that it's like, there's this dark energy that's trying to take over my light, basically. And so that's what I'm working through. And, it's fun. It's like, I got asked to be a part of this, to write music for this film, which was going to be the last days of Jim Morrison in Paris. Oh. And so they said, Roderick, will you write the music for this film called The Last Beat? And I was like, yeah. And I like, what's the premise? What do you need first? And they're like, okay, so he's walking into this Algerian bar where there's this band from America, and they're just freaking out, doing like psychedelic, just rock, and it's 1970, and can you recreate that? And I was like, that sounds perfect for me.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So yes, I can. And so, I flew Ben Ireland, my drummer, who's probably one of the greatest drummers of all time out of Seattle.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely in the top 5. And so by far. And so he comes out and he plays drums, bass, and guitar.
Nice.
And then I lay down the vocals, and it was just like, it sounds like that. Like if you walked into like if you were in Telegraph, part of Paris, and there was like an Algerian bar that Jim Morrison walks into, what would it sound like if there was a band on stage? And so I started that way. So I was like, okay, now I get it. And then I thought about like when Morrison was like writing just pure poetry in Paris, you know, and walking around with lyrics in a bag, and just like, so I've kind of taken that as like I don't know, I guess that would be my muse, is like, that's where I'm going with all of this. I'm just writing, you know, poetry.
So cool. Yeah.
So that's the new album. It's a lot of poetry. There's some songs, so-called songs in there, but it's, you know, it's beats and guitars and bass matched to my lyrics, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's like I'm kind of like recording different stuff. Yeah, I'm recording different stuff in different cities. Like I recorded in Bergen, Norway. I recorded on Maui. I recorded here in New York. I recorded in Hamburg, you know, like different places, and then piecing it together and seeing who's inspired. You know, like we got these people from Romania to remix a couple things, you know, because we're just going to see how it goes. And again, it's like, I want it to be free. Like, I'm not into music for money anymore. I never really made any money off music for one.
It's tough for anybody, really.
Yeah. I'm not really in it for the money. I'm like, I never made money. It's like, what am I talking about? You know?
Right. Exactly.
You know, back in the day, maybe, you know, you get a song in a movie. It's all about movies now. It's like,
I know.
There's no A&R. There's no, you know, there's no nurturing of a band. It's like you either nail it or, you know, you're dropped. It's just like so fast. It's like, you know wow. You know?
What I like, you know, I've been saying to myself for a year is like, I really want adventures. Like, I'm not worried about the business of it anymore. But what I do want, and I'm opening my mind up to, is I want adventures. Like someone say, well, what would that look like? And I'm like, well, like I want a website and I want to make music and put it out there. And I was like, if I can play a show in Montreal, I'd love that. If I could go to England on a little tour, I would love that. You know, like whatever that adventure is, I want that. Do you feel like adventures show up when you need them to? Like the things you're getting asked to do, kind of like when an opportunity shows up, how do you know to be like, yeah, I'm going to do that? And then do you feel like it's like, oh, wow, this is showing up for a reason and look at what it's helping me do, like internally, you know?
Well, I used to feel that. I definitely feel that way. But lately, you know, as I'm getting older, it's just like, I'm like, you know what? It's not showing up. I'm just going to go.
Okay,
so, you know, like, you know, and then I throw something out, like say, University in Bergen, Norway. I'm like, hi, I'm coming to Norway. Would you like me to speak at your university?
See?
And then, you know, and then they get back to you and like, you're coming to Norway and you're coming to Bergen and you build tree houses around the world and you're in this band that made 13 albums. Yes, we want you. You know, and then I'm like, okay, great. And then I go and then I have an awesome time. And I hang out with all these like grad students and architectural students and music students. And then we have this like this relationship. And it's like, I would never have thought, you know, because my grandmother came from Bergen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, yeah. So I'm Norwegian. Like, and then like, you know, like whatever it was 3 weeks ago, I got back from Scotland because my great grandmother and my great grandfather met at the University of Edinburgh. And so I was like, I reached out to them. I'm like, I want to come to Edinburgh. Can I speak at your university?
Right on.
And they're like, you know, and they're like, of course you can. And we will put you in a hotel and we will feed you and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm on a plane. And I did it like in 2 weeks. I just like, okay, so I went there, and then that went well. And so then they said, what about the university, you know, in Versailles? And I'm like, sounds good.
Yep.
And then, so I go up there, and they put me up in a hotel, and I was like, okay. And then I go to the Isle of Skye by myself. And, you know, it's just like, It's like, it's back in the day. You just got to go with it,
I know.
Just like put yourself out there,
Well, and see, you're still doing it. Like, you're still doing your forte, which I always admired about you, is you put yourself out there. You're still doing it really well. Like, hey, I don't know. Yeah. But it's awesome. It's so awesome because you're making things up in your head and saying, why not? Hey, like, what about doing this? Or, hey, would you like that? And you're making opportunities for that door to open to do something you feel like doing. And you've always been good at that. That's a good part of your spirit. Like, so
thank you.
Talk to me about the treehouse making. Like, I found out about that a while ago, but how did you start? I mean, I'm not surprised. The first thing I thought about was your journal. And I was like, oh, I'm sure that's some shitty, like, and then he turned it into like a business. Of course he did.
Well, the cliff notes are back in like 1997. There was this amazing, beautiful woman from Mexico who was like an entrepreneur, and she loved Sky Cries, and she had 100 acres outside Olympia, and she said, "I'm going to do like 100-acre art show. What would you do?" And I said, "Oh, well, I was thinking, and I'm like, I would build a nest up in that, in one of your trees. So as people went to see the art, they could come up and have tea, climb back down from the tree and go see more art." And then not even thinking that the treehouse itself would become art. I just was like, oh, it's a little station for people to, kind of get, some, some tea. And so she's like, I love it, and she gives me a check for like $15,000. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm like, it's 97. And I'm like, oh, I could probably build something kind of cool for this. And then she goes, this is just like the beginning. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And then I'm thinking like, what the hell am I thinking about? I don't even know how to build a freaking treehouse. Like,
But it didn't stop
so
you.
So I reached out to friends and I'm like, here's my concept. It's going to be like two pyramids oscillated by each other, one down.
Uh-oh. Hello.
I think it's dialing him.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I even found a faster way.
You are getting so good at this.
Oh, did we cut out?
We did.
We did.
Okay, where were we?
You were talking about you had met the woman and you she had offered you money, and then you had your designs and you went out and got friends and described what this nest would look like.
Oh, okay. Cool. And so then what happened was I built that one. Then I built one for my brother. And then I went to Italy to hang out with Sting, the musician, and his wife, Trudy Styler. And
yes, you do.
Yes, I did, of course. And so while I'm there, I show him the first two tree houses, and then Trudy, Sting's wife, is like, we have to have one. And I was like, okay, great. But then like 9/11 happened, and, and then everything kind of decimated out. And then I was in a yoga class, and Trudy Styler was next to me, and she goes, Roderick, when are you going to build that treehouse for us? And I'm like, tomorrow? Get me the hell out of here. Get me out of New York. And so she said, well, bring drawings over tomorrow. So I stayed up all night and I made drawings. And then she sent me to Italy to find the right trees at their property that I'd already been to. And then, I spent 4 months with Sting while he was recording an album, and his whole family, and we had dinner every night. And,
wow.
It was crazy, like Elton John shows up.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Paul McCartney shows up. Okay. Jeez. That's cool. I'm just like, let me eat my food and get the hell out of here before I get too drunk. I can't handle this. And so, so I spent, 4 months in an altered reality. And then, and then they turned me on to Donna Karan. So I did two for Donna Karan, and then she introduced me to Julianne Moore, the actress. And then Julianne turned me on to Val Kilmer. And so I did one for Val in New Mexico. And it just kind of went like that. And suddenly I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not really doing music right now. Guess I'm building tree houses and sculptures. And I guess that's, I didn't even think, I guess. It's just like, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
Because it's like, this is what I love right now. I love architecture. I was so inspired, by Barcelona and by Paris and by, everything, all the places I've been to, Istanbul, everywhere. I was like, okay, this is, whatever. This is where I didn't even think about it. In retrospect, I would say this is where I'm going, but it's not what I thought in my mind. I was like, okay,
right.
Because everything else had dried up. Like I didn't have a label. The band was really dormant, and I was like, okay, I'm just, and Lisa was in grad school for painting, and so I had my focus, and so I did that, and then, I built like maybe 30 tree houses in that time, and then, and then I fell 30 feet out of a tree and ended up in a body cast. That was pretty severe.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I fell 30 feet. I thought I was paralyzed. I ended up in a body cast for 6 months, and then when I got out of it, Anissa was like, we should have a baby. And I'm like, I agree. Let's do that, and then like 2 weeks later she was pregnant, and I'm like, all right.
Okay.
We went to Hawaii. I'm like, let's go somewhere that's very relaxed, and we know that, we should, if we're going to conceive a child, it has to be somewhere very, very peaceful. And
right.
So that's what we did. We went to Maui, and that's how it worked out. Now I have a 10-year-old daughter who is the love of my life. She's everything in the world to me. And that's it,
Oh, I get it. So, I feel like I have a 7-year-old too. And especially with parents passing, I get much more appreciative and grateful for my little family between my husband and I and Orion, because I really, there's very few people that I feel like I have as touchstones. And I think you need that as you go through life, especially later, like when I feel like at our age right now, like rough things do happen, or, I guess they kind of do through life, but at the same time, they can kind of pile up, and getting through them. Yeah. God, you really count the people that are your sanity touch points, or also like mentors. And I've always wanted to, but I've decided, and this is kind of a big thing about this podcast, is like, I've decided to reach out and actually participate and talk to my peers and open up and be sort of like, well, how is it for you? Like, how are you doing? As we walk through this life, and be more together, commune more. Like, I really take personal joy in like, hey, I'm touching base again because I want you to know I'm here, and say hi. And if you ever need a good spirit or someone who, I'm a real person, you could call and be like, I feel like shit. And I'll be like, I got you. Okay.
Exactly. Like Charles Peterson, like one of the greatest rock photographers of Seattle by far. I still reach out to him because he's just like the real deal.
Right.
And Nils Bernstein, he came over to my house like 2 weeks ago, for dinner. It's like, Nils was here in New York, and Kathy Moore, and there's like people from the old school. It's like, we're all very, very close, it's like, and then there's some that are so distant, but like, it's like Ben Ireland and my drummer, it's like he and I are brothers. And like, I'm coming to Seattle in like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something after my art show.
Dub's hanging out. Dub's time.
Yeah. We should, because, and so I'm going to record on his new album. It's like Kurt Danielson from Tad, and, cool. And it's Ben and guys from Love Battery, and so we're making this, I'm going to sing on 4 songs, and it's like, it's a totally different style for me, but it's like, I love Darren, so I'm going to I'm writing new lyrics for it right now. And then with the new album, I'm writing new songs like every week. And so we have like 6 new songs for this new album that I'm putting out called One Moment, 1 Point Moment Still, which means basically like 1 point moment still is kind of like Kabbalistic. It means like you're meditating on one singular point, and it's light. It's not dark, it's light. And I'm just like, I meditate on that every day, every morning and every night. And so it's like when I ground myself that way. And so the whole album, you know, there's dark and light in the album, but it's like, that's life.
Yeah.
You know,
and,
it's not all, you know, we're humans have, you know, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, basically.
Oh, yeah. I get really hyper focused on, and I like it, thinking about the preciousness of being human and a person. And so that's been really tripping me out lately, is just thinking about your time on this planet, like, and what you're going to do with it. And that it is, if you believe that, like, what am I doing during this time on the planet? I've gotten like a different perspective, but I want to play songs from your new stuff too. And so tell me which one you want us to kind of sample at first, and we're going to have links to it. What would you, if we were going to play it right now, which one would you want us to do a little tidbit of?
Oh, is this whole thing live?
We're going to record it. And then what I'm going to do is put it in there like, together. Yeah.
What do you have from the new album? You have Devil's Chord. You have Right on the Moon. You have December Snow. What do you have? Sean
says he's sending me December Snow and then Devil's Chord. And so
those two are perfect because they're probably the most done.
Inside won't go away. No matter how hard he cried, shake snakes and pray. He cried and he begged, but to no avail. Sorrow passing by and away he sailed. Yes, he stowed away with the rats on board. The captain killed him with a guitar string, the devil's cold. Killed him with a guitar string, the devil's cold.
And there's a Right on the Moon mix with my sister, but I think we're going to start. I think we started with December Snow, which is really cool because it's, you know, it's me, and then it's with people from Skinny Puppy, which I don't know if you remember them.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and there's this like Romanian vocalist that surprisingly sounds a lot like Anissa. Incredibly like her.
Right on.
And I'm dating this girl from Romania, and it's really whack because when I was in Romania, this is a side note.
Yeah.
I went to this monastery. Sorry. And I'm smoking a cigarette. Okay. And I take these photos. This is like, what was that? 88, 89. And I take this photo of this mountainside, and I have it in black and white. Of course, I always shoot in black and white. And I'm in Mexico in this remote area, and I'm at a dinner party with all these people, you know. Mm-hmm. And there's this gorgeous woman, and she's sitting there. And so I start talking to her, of course. You know, I'm a total slut. Okay, so no, truly, I'm horrible. And so we start talking, blah, blah, blah. She's from Romania. She's from Bukovina. And I'm like, oh, Bukovina, I went to the monastery there, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, you know, about, 6 months later, I send her an image of, like, these photos I took. And then she's like, that's my house.
Wow.
She's like, and I took this photo in 1989. She's like,
yes,
you took a photo of my house that I grew up in. And I'm like, holy heck, so I'm like, so it's like, that's been really fun because then now we're like really good friends and stuff. And it's really cool. But it's like, God. That's crazy, right?
No, that's the
How's
shit
that
I
gonna
love.
happen?
I love that shit. That's the stuff I
Yeah.
live for. Like, what? Okay. Like,
What are the chances?
I know.
Because
Yes.
I'm in a monastery because I wanted to be at a monastery and I wanted to camp outside the monastery. And then I heard that like they were actually going to king the new gypsy of all of Europe. And so I was like, I got to be there for this.
Gotta see
and then
that.
I take photos, and then I take a photo of her parents in her own house. And
Yes.
she's like, are you insane? No American has ever been to this area for one. You know,
Wow. I love that though.
But,
It's like that's the magic I feel like of living that I really I crave, like, because I love that stuff. Like that we're all interconnected, and you know, if you think about someone long enough, they show up. And I always, as a kid, like even when I was like 8 years old, I remember distinctly two things. I remember saying to myself in the mirror, like, I want life to be magic. Like I want to know what, you know, like magic powers or whatever. Yeah. And then I was like, I also want my eyes to be green. You know what I mean? And so part of me is just like some of those things that like just, you know, I've always believed that. And
did your eyes become green?
They are much greener than they were. Yes, they turning way more green. It's crazy, but I love it. Then, you know, it gives you some sense of hope and excitement to me when things like that happen too, because you're like,
all things are possible.
All things are
possible. Thought
is
energy.
Yes.
It's like you throw it out there. It's like there's thought, then there's the word, then there's the action. So it's like you start with the thought, then it can manifest itself into, you know, an action.
Here's so I want to play. We'll play December Snow first, and then we'll have links to both.
Great.
But I want to ask you advice. So what do you do with this feeling? So I've been writing these songs, and it's been, you know, sort of slow. It's been good. Like I know when I'm crying during a certain song, I know I'm really fully expressing, you know what I mean? And I'm hitting on what I want. Like, not that I need to cry every time, but there's some songs that are really just rocking me, and it's personal, you're right? Like it's just what's coming out of me, and that's all I'm really looking for. But I'm feeling nervous about, and I'm not sure what this is in me. I'm feeling nervous about the next step of finding people who are going to be the right people to come together and help me make this record, because I don't feel like I am like most people I'm around in terms of what I want to do. Like I'm not playing alt country. I'm not doing rock and roll. It's almost, music could lend itself more to like a theater piece, or it's piano based, all that. But I'm nervous when I go to look for people. I think I'm really scarred a little bit. And I'm a little nervous, and I'm trying not to control it, but I'm shy and nervous. Some people have come up, like kind of the magic, and I feel really nervous, and I'm trying to let it go. I'm trying to just be like, just go talk to them, see what happens. And so I was just looking for your advice on that kind of feeling.
Well, my first thought would be to try to connect with Michael Kotze.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah. He's a genius, for one. He has the best studio in all of Seattle. And he knows, you know, like, as far as a drummer, I would bring in David Gilmour. He was in Mother Love Bone. And, Gilmour's, he's very, very spiritual. He's very technically perfect. And so I would bring in David Gilmour. I would try to connect with Michael and just have a sit down.
Okay.
Because his studio is off the charts awesome. He's an incredible engineer producer. You know, so then guitar wise, that's really up to you. I don't know what to tell you. I think
I got to tell you. I think some of this is really not going to have guitar at all. Like I'm thinking, well, it just depends. Like I'm looking at other treatments, like not necessarily like Bjork in terms of but just some of her experimentations with just voice, or I'm looking at, and this is just sound and textures, like the Amy Winehouse records or Adele in terms of like a vocalist and piano accompaniment. But there's also Feist, certain treatments from her last record, Metals. I like that a lot. So there's also just some, like, I hear songs where I'm like, oh, there's there is no guitar. There's just like strings and drums. I'm like, it might be just that.
Yeah.
And what I want.
That's why Michael's perfect for you.
Is he? And I think Michael can get emotionally. I think Michael can get emotionally attacked. Don't you think? Like, my thing is, and this is my knee jerk. I'm like, is this too much to ask? But I was like, I want someone to get in there emotionally with me. And I want them to honestly love the music too. Like, they have to be in love with it too, to be sort of like, I want that.
Absolutely.
I want emotionally like, holy shit, this is personal. They got to be into it. And so I think that's where I get really vulnerable too. Like, ooh, geez. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it when Bowie produced Transformer for Lou. It was like, I'm doing this because I freaking, idolize you and I love you. And he did it, I think, for free. And it's like, I need to make this album with you, and I'm not saying that Michael would do that, but
sure,
he would definitely make the right album with you. So I start there. Okay. I would say bass, Wano from, he's now the lead singer for Yes. Which is hilarious. Our bass player, right? He's now the lead singer for Yes.
Oh my God.
Like, he's the best bass player I've ever heard in my entire life. But he lives in Laguna Beach. But he loves coming to Seattle, and he always stays at Michael's place. It's in the studio. He sleeps on the floor. He's one of those kind of guys. And because I don't know a lot of other bass players that have that sensitivity. You could bring in Ben also as a drummer.
Right.
Because I'm just drawing on my pool of people that I think are like the best of the best.
Do you ever feel vulnerable like that? Do you ever have those moments? Like, you might not. Like, I'm trying to get over my fears, I think. And I think I'm trying to control.
The key is to do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
there you go.
Just like, if you think too much about it, then it's never going to happen.
You're right.
And then, but also, of course, there's the practical side. You have to have the finances in mind. And it's like, okay, this track's going to cost this much, and where do I start? And, do I make, do I start with one song and put it out there and see if there's a response? Because that's kind of how it is now. It's like, we grew up in the idea of building albums, and it's a totally different game now. So it's like, what about if we just start what we're doing with LaShawn? Is it's like, let's build chapters in a book.
Ooh,
and we release different chapters, so it's like, here's chapter 1, and it's this song, called whatever. And it's like, then you move on to the next song. You just keep releasing. And for me, it's like, we're just releasing through the moons, or seasons basically. So every full moon, release a song. And so
awesome.
I'm, on the head of the curve. I already have 5 songs, so I've got myself to May.
Right.
And then, and I recorded in Norway, and and so I've got 2 songs coming out of there. So that gets me almost through June, July. And then, and then we do remixes. It's really beautiful because that's how it should be. It's, and I wish I was going to 2-inch tape. I wish I was doing all these things, and but eventually we will press the vinyl, and because that's the key. Vinyl is everything. I only listen to vinyl. I don't listen to CDs. I don't listen to downloads. I only listen to vinyl.
Oh, wow.
So that's all I have. I don't have a TV. I don't have a radio. I don't have anything. I have a record player and a really good speaker system, and that's it.
Right on.
That's it. So I am playing old school stuff, but there is a movement now with vinyl that is because it's so warm. It's like you're really getting it when the needle hits the vinyl. It's like, wow, that is the sound that is real. That's been there for freaking 50 years now. It's like, at least,
Well, I think you've got your environment set up with no television or radio, that you're preserving your creativity. You're not getting distracted by just the amount of garbage that's out there, distracting garbage.
Yeah. When I the only time I watch TV is in airports, you know?
Right.
And then I'm like, what? There's this guy named Donald Trump, you know?
Oh my God.
Is he for real? What
Yeah,
a
exactly.
monster. Like, you know, there's going to be a revolution in this country if he gets even close to being president. Like, there is no way that's going to happen.
It can't happen. Yeah, I'm with you.
No.
Oh, no, my God.
Yeah,
no. I think what's sad, though, is that, and I'll try not to go down a political thing, but it's like, it's just sad that, like, America, they're putting energy and time into it because we are kind of that, like, car crash reality culture now. Exactly. We're like, ooh, the weirder drama. The better. It's awful. It's pointless. It's such a waste of time. Like,
it's sick. The rest of the world is looking at us like, you know, they loved Obama because it was like he's so smart, he's so on top of it, and then suddenly what are we gonna do? Put us back 20 years back to the Bush and Reagan years? As the rest of the world looks at us like you're fucking idiots and you're the empire of the world. It's like, you know, we're gonna lose all trust, everything. The rest of the world's gonna be like, oh, you guys are absolute idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like, oh my God, don't leave us. Like, don't leave us. Like, where, you know, between everyone, even, I mean, I like Bernie Sanders because I think he's smart but I don't think he'd ever get elected, but, which is sad.
Well, no, he's awesome. He's fantastic. He's very old and he's, and I don't think America is ready for a socialist.
Right.
Even though I am, of course, I am a socialist. So it's like, but it's like, you know, I'm totally down with him. But I also think that, like, you know, with Hillary, we're going to get Bill, and they're two very, very, very intelligent people together. And I would love to see a female president.
Yeah.
I would love it. You know, it's like we go from a black president to a woman president.
Yeah.
Look how fucking cool we are.
Oh,
We're
I
like,
agree.
America's like has a chance to really, really, really nail it. If we go the other way, we're back in the dark ages. You know, it's just like bad. You know, like we can't have a racist president.
Oh my God, no! It's just so awful.
He's a racist president. You know, he's a racist. So
well, and he has to interact globally. So what the hell is Trump? I mean, just as a global ambassador, no way. Like who? No. I don't know that most of the world would take him. Like, I don't know.
Well, what I wish, and I mean, this would be probably a bad call, but if because he would win, but I like him, is Bloomberg.
Oh yeah.
You know, Bloomberg ran New York City for 12 years, and it's never been better than these last 12 years. You know, like Bloomberg, you know what he gets for a year as you know, mayor of New York?
What's that? No.
$1.
Oh wow.
He takes $1 a year to be mayor of New York City.
Oh,
and he doesn't even cash the dollar. He's just like, you know, I've met him a few times, and he's off the chart smart.
Wow.
He's not Republican. He's not Democrat. He's independent. He's just like, this is how you run things, and this is how we prosper, and this is how it goes. He created more like bike lanes in New York City than no one's even created bike lanes until him. He takes the subway to work. He doesn't live in the mansion. He lives at his own home. He takes $1 a year and just nails it. So it's like,
that would be amazing.
If he would have run, he might run as an independent, which would be kind of fucked because it would divide the vote. Where I'm just hoping that, like, it's going to be Trump because he's such a freaking asshole. And then it's going to be Hillary versus Trump. And are they going to, you know, like, how could you imagine being a woman and not vote for a woman? Like, how stupid would you have to be? You know,
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I think some people, and I couldn't know because I just don't know how everybody feels about it. But I think that some women get along great with women. Some women can't relate at all, and they get, you know, they relate better to men in a power position. I mean, there's a lot of that out there. I think some people find Hillary cold. You know what I mean? And so it's really easy to prescribe the bitch persona to her, you know, write a woman off as a bitch, you know, or there's just so many ways that women to women, not just men, are marginalized. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm going to reduce all of your talent or your abilities to you're a cold bitch, or you know, like just something that doesn't take into consideration their abilities.
A powerful woman is so intimidating, you know, and especially to probably men and other women who don't feel like they could ever have their own power. And so that's just like, that's scary. But, you know, maybe it's just going to be a really low turnout.
Oh my God, who knows? So sad. It's so sad.
If you ask me, it's just, everyone's just like, oh, whatever, you know, but like, that's scary to me too, because like, I don't know, whatever, that's politics. We can get off.
Yeah, I know, right? We got to get ourselves out of it. Hey, here's a random thing. So we moved to Tacoma, which I'm really loving as, because people here.
Tacoma's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Super magical. Lots of people are very open and friendly, lots of collaboration. But I also remember Sky Cries Mary and Goodness played a show in downtown Tacoma. Do you remember that?
At the theater.
Yeah. There was like but it was like a weird building.
It was a theater. It was awesome.
Is it funny? Like, I was like, oh, I'll drive through Tacoma and be like, oh yeah, I played a show there, you know, and I always remember that show. And
that was an amazing show.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Do you think,
I love that.
Do you think, cause I have friends who are going through massive changes, and I hope you don't mind if I ask like,
you can ask me anything you want.
Well, I have a friend who's going through, again, just like one of those moments where all shit hits the fan. Like his father passed, and his wife just decided, oh, I'm not in love with you, and cheated, you know, and their scenario is that she's being pretty awful. And it's just like this trifecta of, you know, he's trying so hard to recover from the grief of his dad, and then his wife, and then his mom got really ill. And so I talked to him the other day, and he's just like, he's a very strong person, but at the same time, just like devastated on the inside. And I just wonder like how you get through that, and how like, when those things happened with like your mom and Anissa and all that, like, did you see it coming? Or between you and Anissa, like, what was the breakdown? Like, why not, you know, why did it end up happening?
Well, you know, we were, you know, like I've known her, God, what now, 30 years. And then we were married for 20 years or something, 19 years. And, I think it's kind of twofold. It's like we had a child, beautiful Petra, and I had absolutely different, you know, you never know. You're like, you know, you're floating through space, and then suddenly, you know, it's like, oh, let's have a child. And we had totally different ideas of how to raise a child. Okay. You know, like my whole thing is nature-based. It's like, I want her to like do organic gardening. I want to teach her about composting. I want to do this and this. I want her to like hang out with me in the forest. And Anissa's like, you know, and nothing against her. She's the greatest mom in the world. Anissa is an amazing mom. Okay.
Right.
I'll say that straight up. And it's just like, I don't know. And then, I was still dealing with like massive depression, to be honest. Yeah. You know, and I'm bipolar, you know, which is not a boutique diagnosis. It's like,
no, that's heavy.
It is heavy. I'm the most extreme level of bipolar. So it's like, you know, if I don't take my medicine, I'm like basically schizophrenic, which is a hard thing to say to you. But, yeah, no, it's severe. So, and so anyways, like, Anissa and I were just like, we drifted apart, you know, it was like,
I get it.
Know, it just became more and more of a distance between us. And it wasn't, you know, obviously our daughter Petra. It was just like, I'm not saying we fell out of love. It's just that we just drifted too far apart. And then in that point, it became kind of toxic. You know, it's like we were, you know, like we had arguments over stuff that didn't even matter. You know, It's like, it was ridiculous. And so then finally, she made the realization. I was in denial that it just wasn't working. We went to therapy, we went to do all this stuff, and and it was like it just wasn't working anymore. And then that's the beauty of it. It's like, okay, it's not working. Let's move on. And
right.
let's make it positive for Petra, and then let's just not get into like all of the baggage. It's like we had some phenomenal years there. We had great, everything for so many years. The touring, the lovemaking, everything was great. And then suddenly it just kind of like, it just fell apart. And that's okay. It's like,
yeah,
maybe that's nature. It's like, I'm not sure that we're all made to be like together for life, even though my mom and dad were together for 52 years, which was amazing.
Right.
Until my mom passed. But it's like, okay, that's just super rare. That's like
right.
that 1/100th of a 100%. It's like, that's fantastic. But I don't know. I guess I'm not that person, and
I think,
and it is what it is,
I think being married is one of the hardest things ever. Two individuals with their own life paths and their own learning paths coming together, and then you add a child rearing to it. I mean, these are tough partnership moments, like testers. I think that I'm not surprised when people drift apart, because I do find it, honestly, it's very difficult. I think when Marty and I have definitely been through the ups and downs, and there's your own personal like reactions and defenses, and getting through those and continue, with the goal of like keeping the partnership together is the hardest work ever. I think.
For sure.
It's just crazy town. So
it is crazy town, and keeping the passion, keeping the, because it's really about that. Like, it can't get mundane. It has to be like, not that, you can't like recreate that honeymoon,
sure,
or, that infatuation stage. It's just like, you love each other, and you're dedicated, but you also got to keep it really like sexy and fun and all that, and then, it's like whatever. It's like things happen, it's like people become insecure about their bodies or whatever, and then suddenly they shut down, and then suddenly they get it back, and then, other people are attracted,
right.
Like,
oh yeah.
All that, and it's like, there's these balance, and then suddenly you're like, oh, but I've always been here for you, but whatever. It's just, I know I'm.
That's a lot to weather.
Out my ass right now.
No, you're making total sense. I just want you to know that you're making total sense, because that's what you weather, and it's, you rely in terms of trust on the other person to like, like you can't make another person like get it and meet you in the same place again, right? Like I may go through journeys internally that are separate from Marty, and hopefully I figure something out, and we meet again, and he goes through certain things, and it's terrifying in terms of trust. Like, well, I hope you figure that out, because if you don't, like it could spiral off into this thing that ends us, or
right.
Because exactly. There are lines where you just start to go like, okay, you're not whatever that is, like we're not meeting up again in the place post these rides, like these waves of things that, like women having babies, you definitely like your libido can go out the door, or you don't like how you look. And then I know exactly what you're talking about. I know, like, if I start working out and feel really good about myself, you start to attract people, or it rejuvenates your relationship with your partner. But it can also open up that moment where someone's like, hey, and, those are tester moments. And, it's like, if I feel good about myself, I'm fully feeling alive and all of this. So there's so much shit to ride through in a relationship, so much. And no one tells you that. No one teaches you that.
There's no manual for it.
No.
Yeah, there's no manual for like marriage, and there's no manual for having a child.
No.
It's just like, you just got to go with it. And number one, I think what happened, to be totally honest, is that Anissa was like absolutely everything to me. And suddenly I had, Petra, and Anissa became second, because really everything to me was this child that I adore and love and cherish. And so she became second. And that's not that easy for someone who's been treated as number one for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Number two. You know what I mean? It's like, that sounds very simplistic, but it's like what it is. It's like,
oh, no. I totally
nothing
get
means
that.
more than me than my daughter. Nothing in the world. Everything I do, like every treehouse I build, every album I make, every dollar I make, is really to make sure that my daughter is going to be okay. Like I own my apartment. I own another apartment. I'm going to buy a place in Scotland. Everything that I buy or do or own is all for her. Like my will means zero. It just means everything goes to Petra. That's the bottom line. Everything that I do goes to her, because she's the whole thing in my world. It's like, but I enjoy my life. I love doing my art. I love doing everything I'm doing. But in the end, it's like, whatever, it goes all to Petra, because she's absolutely everything in my life. That's it.
Yep.
Carte blanche. I don't care if I, meet another, I have a few girlfriends, but
yeah, of course you do. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's like, they're all clear about it. It's like, I'm sorry, you're awesome. I love, being with you, but everything in my life goes to Petra. That's it.
Well,
carte blanche.
Parent-child relationship is profound. I mean, it's profound.
It is, man. We made them, in a way. It's like,
well, same thing. Like Marty and I will be like, if Orion wasn't here, then I'm like, then we would go back to, you're right, like focusing on each other and also navigating things probably easier because we've already seen crazy, or like I'm comfortable with like crazy and like crime or whatever on my own. But like now with Orion in the world, I'm like, one, you're right, my focus is fractured. And the burden of worrying about him is kind of heavy too, right? Like I'd be willing to move to someplace strange or whatever, but I'm like, but then I'm putting Orion through that. And you're right. So the focus of like, oh no, he's the focus. I don't go off and do wingding, like things that I'm comfortable with, because it all affects him. So anyways.
Well, yeah, there's nothing more important.
Right. Nothing.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I get it. We're here. Our parents brought us in. And our parents, leave, and we have our brothers and sisters, and such. And it's like, but there's this person that we created, it's like greater than anything I could ever build.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Like, I might build like 70 tree houses and nothing's going to compare to that.
Right.
I might, write 13 albums, but nothing's going to compare to that. It's like there's nothing I could possibly do that is more important than my daughter.
I love
nothing.
That. Yeah, I love that.
And that's
You're
the truth.
Good dad.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. It's like, and I had something great to say to you, but I forgot the idea.
Did it have to do?
Do you
with
have
music?
another question?
Oh yeah. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up here. Although I don't want to stop talking. I could talk to you forever. We could always do it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
but when you're in Seattle,
you know that, Carrie.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. I would love to, just as I've really been wishing for peers, like, and really wanting some mentors. And I have a couple friends who are writers, but I would love to include you in someone I could call and say like, okay, I'm losing my mind over this song, or somebody.
I'm your man.
Okay. I love it. Well,
you can call me anytime, and I really do think you should probably hook up with Michael Kotze.
I'm going to do it.
And then, create a band around you, but like keep it to exactly what you want. Don't overextend yourself. Go, oh, I need this, but you probably don't. Like if you want like a string section, then bring in a string section. If you want like a horn section, because I was watching the, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Amy Winehouse documentary.
So I haven't seen the one that's out in the movies yet, but I've seen other stuff.
It'll make you cry.
I know.
It'll make you cry.
Yeah.
When I went to Brooklyn to watch it in a small theater, and there was maybe 18 to 20 people in the theater, and no one left until it was done. The credits were done. People were flying. Amy Winehouse? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That woman was
I know.
off the charts.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I underrated her. I was like, oh, Amy Winehouse. Yeah, she's hot. She has really cool eyes. And I love her makeup and I like her tattoos and blah, blah, blah. But then I see the film and I'm like, holy hell.
Yeah.
You know, she was one of the greatest female vocalists of the last 30 years.
And a musician. Like, she wrote those songs, you know, like, what great lyrics. Oh my God. Like, to go to Black is like, holy hell. Like, the lyrics to her music are just amazing.
And you know, it's kind of that like archetypical, like, oh, her dad's a mother freaking asshole.
Oh,
you know,
is that
like
what it is? I gotta
dad,
go see it.
He's a villain. And so was her like boyfriend. They just, you know, they were just like these like life suckers or whatever they call that. You know, it's like they were just like piranhas. And it's like, here's this genius artist. And if she would have just been nurtured a little longer, but you know, she's another 27, you know?
I know.
Like Kurt.
Oh, I know.
Jim and like Hendrix and like Janis Joplin, you know? But like usually the 27's about men because that's when we go to Venus. It's like, but it was brutal because I just, it crushed me because, I mean, God, I wish I would have met her and I could have dated her and got her out of that whole thing.
Well, I think she had her own personality issues too, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's suggestions about like personality disorder or definitely addiction. Like, you know, some people have very addictive and don't give them, you know, any bit of the candy because they'll lose their minds. And so I think everybody's destinies are pretty fascinating. But 27, that struck me. I was like, what the hell goes on at 27? But anyways.
It's called the Venus year. But,
okay.
You know, I've been suffering with that. And we'll end this with this. It's just like, you know, I'm an alcoholic and I'm like really dealing with it and like come back and forth with it, you know, and it's like,
I understand that.
You know, I come back and forth, you know, it's like, I'm not, you know, I go to AA, which I'm probably not supposed to say, but, you know, it's just like, you know, I do what I do. And sometimes I just, you know, whatever. I went to Scotland and I drank scotch. Of course I did.
Right.
How do you not go to Scotland?
Right. I know. Right. Exactly.
You know? So, you know, and I come through it and I'm back in and I'm good. And I'm not like sober, but I'm like, at least I'm not like a blackout drunk or something, you know?
Well, I would wonder too, with the heavy amount of creativity that is within you, like, I feel like that it's easy to fall into nurturing yourself with things like that because I don't know, that's a lot of output. That's a lot of vulnerability, a lot of creativity. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes you're taking like risks and new things and sustaining things. And I don't know if you feel all that stuff, but I can see why people medicate and I can see why people go to have little comfortable islands of numb in order to get some respite, frankly. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice way of saying it. Respite is perfect because that's what it is. It's like, I'm not like searching for oblivion. You know, I'm like, I just need a reprieve. I just need to be able to go to sleep. I need to be able to like reflect. And then, you know, it's just like, it's not like I'm not being creative, right? I'm like, you know, I'm writing songs every day. I'm building tree houses every day. I have my own TV show now.
Oh my God. I want to see that. You have to send us
my new TV show is amazing. I just wrapped it yesterday.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, Treehouse Masters.
Treehouse Masters. Okay, I'm all over that.
Oh yeah. So February 26th is the debut of like my big show. Like I just finished it like yesterday. I was like 80 feet up in this cherry picker acting like I was enlightened. It was hilarious. You know, no, I literally was. It was crazy. And they're like, okay, close your eyes and act like you're levitating. I'm like, okay, cool.
All right.
And then we did it like 5 times. And then they said, okay, this time open your eyes and come down. And I'm like, holy hell. I was like, I had no idea I was this far up. I got, it was like crazy. But, it's going to be great.
I think that'll be amazing to watch. And I do think, does it feel this way to you? You have a lot going on in your mind, and that can feel, I feel like that can feel like it's you don't get a rest, right? Like there is this sort of body rest or mental rest that sometimes I think certain kind of pot would be good for, or whatever. Not that I'm suggesting that, but I can understand like some sense of mental calm where you're like, not another, no more project, just a little bit of, relaxing area. Like I have felt that before where I was like, I just need a little summer vacation right now. I need, I'm on the beach. I have a glass of wine. I'm with friends. I'm safe. And I just want to chill for a minute.
Yeah. No, it is important. I have the hardest time creating that space.
Yeah.
And when I do, I'm like, I have anxiety for a few days, and then I'm like, oh, no, you know what? I need this because suddenly a new idea comes in, It's like, and then it's like, okay, it's just an idea, whatever. Don't dwell on it, okay. But it's fucking hard.
It's hard.
We're artists,
Yes.
Like, this is what we do, and I've been doing it my entire life.
Right.
And so,
maybe if you could,
it's all right,
It's all right, but it's hard. But what I've been thinking about is if you find time to connect yourself to and meditate with like things that are 100% solid, right? Like Mother Earth. Like if you had like, you're not, so you could go to a place where it's like, you're not alone, but you're going to do a traditional earth connection thing. And that's the process, right? Like where you go, I'm going to go off and I need to sit and meditate and then I imagine myself connected to this planet. And that's what's going to keep me tethered to the ground and grounded. And it's a real thing. So I'm going to do I'm going to do this magical relaxing for myself and let real things nourish and rejuvenate you, as opposed to things that are temporary that ultimately kind of tear, like alcohol is a depressant. So it's an evil mistress is what I call it. And
it is.
Evil mistress, and it's ultimately hurting you. But there are powerful, magical things, I think, on the planet itself that could take care of you, I think.
Well, no, it's totally true. It's just that, like there's these poisons out there, and for some reason, people like to poison themselves. I mean, think about like I'm a vegetarian, right? Yeah. I've been vegetarian for 35 years. And it's just like people are poisoning themselves every day, but they seem to be okay with it, like eating these meats and, these factory farm chickens and all this stuff. But it's like, for me, it's like when my mom died, that's when I went on medication because they finally said, to really, you're absolutely bipolar. So that's when I went to rehab. Yeah. Because I had to go to rehab. I was like, I had to go.
Right.
Because otherwise I was going to die.
Right.
And then.
Well, those are major traumas. Your whole, like, if you have something going on with your mind in general, and then you take a massive foundational person out of your life, I mean, everyone's got to survive through these waves of life changes. It's hard. Mm-hmm. And good for you.
Yeah, it was the best choice ever.
I know, right? Yeah.
It was like a restart, it's like, and that's what it is, it's like, we're artists,
yes. There's
line,
there's no shame in it. There's no shame in
did Jackson Pollock or did Picasso or Dali or did, Moreau or any of the greats go to, rehab? No, but they probably could have. But my whole thing is like, I want to stay alive for my daughter, and I want to keep creating art. And the only way to do that is to like keep checking in on myself.
Totally.
Like, I have an art show coming out. Like I'm doing an art show like in 2 weeks with Spencer Tunick. He's the guy who does like, say like 5,000 naked bodies along the river.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's Spencer and I doing the show together. And then then my next show is with Laurie Anderson, and then I'm just kind of going with it again. I don't know where it's going to fall or
Sure.
what's going to happen, but it's like, and then I have my TV show, so it's like I'll do 4 episodes, and I'll just again, like it's like I don't want to think too much about it. I just want to keep cooking, and I've got drawings to do tonight, and I've got to get on this stone piece and make this sculpture perfect, and then I'm kind of done for the day, and then tomorrow I'll work on it again, and then Tuesday I install the show, and then Wednesday I come back home, and then I start writing some more music, and then that's it. So that's my life.
Yeah. Well, and as you would do those things, I mean, if you had your touchstone, where I like to do things where I seriously talk to my mom, like I know I need. I like having a touchstone moment where I sit and I just share, because I think it's the sharing that I miss, and it helps me touchstone, and it helps me go like I'm here on the planet still, and there's lots I'm going to like about that and work on, and in the meantime it soothes my soul to talk with her as if she was here to say like, oh, look what I did this week, and just so I feel like I'm communing with my existence deeper. So I don't know.
Well, hey, Terry, what's the difference between like you and I talking or you talking to your mom? Aren't we talking into space? It's
right.
Like she's as close to you as I am.
Right. Yeah.
And the same to my mom. It's like, whatever. We have phones, and we're talking through the ether, and then you hear me and I hear you. Why can't people outside of our realm hear us too? Why not? I mean, it's just frequency, and it's just energy, and there's the thought, then there's then there's the word, then there's the action. It's like they're all around us. They don't leave us. It's just energy flowing, and so like you put it out there and keep it in the positive realm, and you're reaching out to your mom like I reach out to my mom, and I just go, give me some guidance here, because I feel a little lost,
Yeah.
And that's what it is, it's like you're not expecting something, you're just putting it out there.
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. 100%. And so on that note, I am going to say that our mothers are watching us, and they're very proud, and they want their little smart geniuses to go out and create beautiful things and enjoy yourself. And and I just want to say, I cherish you. I think you're wonderful, and I look forward to talking to you more. And should you need anything, I'm always here as well.
Same.
All right, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, when you're in Seattle, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, take care.
Okay. Good night, ladies. Bye.
Bye-bye, hon.